There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, folks, the Yonkō Table has set sail yet again into the land of Disney Plus, and we are here to talk all things about Chip and Dale, baby. Rescue Rangers, the reboot, in quotation marks, movie, series, whatever you call it, of the classic Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers Disney afternoon TV series from the 90s. I never thought Disney would bring this show back, especially in the form of a movie and the type of movie at that it told. But before we deep dive this film, with me as always is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, Grandmaster Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Big fan? Yay, nay?
Definitely a yay. Definitely enjoyed watching the series when I was younger. Not in its heyday. It was definitely reruns on like Disney Channel, with Toon Disney, right? Toon Disney was a thing, right? So definitely reruns, but yeah, definitely an enjoyable show. I love Chip and Dale. Dale, definitely my brother and I was Dale, he was Chip. And yeah, it was a great show. Great theme song. Love the theme song. Definitely one of those ones that makes it stick around in your noggin for years after the fact. But when they announced the Chip and Dale movie, not the direction I thought they were going to take it, especially with the reboot, craze that it is. But I can definitely say I walked away from this film overtly satisfied for their approach.
More satisfied than a similar multiverse crossover film?
Oh, like Doctor Strange?
I didn't say it.
I mean, I'm not comparing the two. They're apples to oranges, but I had no expectations really coming into this film.
That is true. That is true.
And I mean, I try to keep my expectations for like Doctor Strange mid. However, this film just knocked it out of the park for me. I don't know. Just did a great job at what it did.
No, I agree. I did have some problems with the movie, like removing, the crossovers and the reference stuff that I really liked. There were like one or two issues. I don't know, maybe talking about it here, maybe those issues will get cleared up. Maybe I misinterpreted a scene or two or something. But, with this movie, is it safe to say like this is ignoring quality, because I think some people might think this other film might be a little bit better than Chip and Dale, but would it be safe to say that this movie is the modern day Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, definitely.
Like in terms of like, the type of story, the cartoons we all watched growing up, they're actually real, and they're like actual people that work, pay taxes with humans.
Yes. In that sense, yes. It is a modern day Roger Rabbit. If anything, it's in the same universe that Roger Rabbit created, as far as, like you're saying, toons being sentient beings. They're not toons. They're made, but then they go out and have lives and whatnot. Yeah. I could. It's akin to Roger Rabbit, and even with the fact that it's a mystery too, is very similar to Roger Rabbit.
That's right. Because it's a murder in Roger Rabbit, right?
It's a murder in Roger Rabbit, right? And then this one is, missing toons and some deeper conspiracy going on. So yeah, very similar to Roger Rabbit, but I think unlike Roger Rabbit, this one is poking fun at kind of just the inner workings of it all, whether it be, what goes on behind the studios, what the actors go through. It kind of just pokes fun at every aspect of the realm of Hollywood, which is, I think it's really self-referential humor, and I think it works to a great degree.
No, it does. I guess that kind of goes into the type of film that it is, right? Because it's kind of like a mix of a reboot, because it's taking an old property and resurrecting it for modern audiences, but at the same time, it's kind of a continuation, you would say, in the sense that they're not continuing the fantasy of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, like their adventures they would go on with Mom Teddy Jack and Zipper and the rest of them. But it's continuing from, that was actually a show that Chip and Dale acted on,
Right.
and this is them all these years later. Like, if you knew that Chip and Dale was getting rebooted, is this a direction you would take it in, or would you have done like a more traditional, like Proud Family, Louder and Prouder as an example, where you take an old show and you're just continuing from the old show?
I think if you're going to make a show, yes, it'd probably be just, it's either better to go like the Proud Family route, where it's a continuation. This also, I want to throw in the DuckTales reboot in there. DuckTales had a 2017 reboot. That was an actual like reboot.
They started from scratch.
From scratch, right?
Okay.
But it was like still DuckTales. The characters were there, and whatnot. But they expand the mythos, and actually, cool thing about DuckTales, they made all those Disney Toon afternoons. They made it all kind of like a shared universe in DuckTales.
So like with what?
So for example, Darkwing Duck. Well, Darkwing Duck was already part of DuckTales.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I know what you mean.
The characters of Tailspin show up. They reference like the gummy bears. And even Chip and Dale are part of the DuckTales reboot. There was it's like they only appear in like 3 episodes or something, but it's like, well, yeah, we've been experimenting on mice and rodents and making them super intelligent. And then it shows like Gadget, but then in another episode, they fly in that thing and they come rescue them, and then and they just give them a wink and keep going. So with reboots, we're in the day and age of reboots. However, I like the fact that it wasn't just a straight up reboot. This concept is kind of similar to, and I'm trying to think of what it was similar to. I think Bewitched in 2005, where they made it was the Bewitched movie. However, Bewitched movie was referencing Bewitched the show, but Nicole Kidman played the witch. It was actually a witch watching the show, and that's the closest thing I could think of that this movie was similar to. So I like the route they took. I like Chip and Dale they were always part of our world. They're actors, and this is the result of their meddling with spin-offs and great effects, multiple cameos, but we'll get into it. What did you think about the animation and art style for different characters? So like, I know for this one, I feel like they took more risks than say Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? In terms of animation, because Who Framed Roger Rabbit just took the traditional approach of animation that was at the time, which was just oh man, what's the fancy word for it? Hand drawn,
but it has another word.
Cell shaded.
Not cell shaded. Cell.
Yeah, because this one's more cell shaded.
It's like they're drawing. Oh man, I swear I'm gonna hate myself once I figure out the word afterwards. It's all the arts and animation people that listen to this. Like I know you guys know which word I'm talking about, but it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit did like a more traditional, art style in terms of animation for the cartoon characters. Right. This one, they did it for some characters, but there's the obvious one where Dale right here,
right?
He's 3D, like an Alvin and the Chipmunks type of character. Then there's well, I don't want to spoil ahead, but like there's different art styles that they experiment with. That's funny. And I'm like, oh, okay, that is like the cheese guy, the cheese puppet.
Oh, right, yeah. He's a Muppet.
He was a Muppet, yeah. He was a Muppet. Which, by the way, I think that was probably for me, the funniest scene, because it's the thing where they're asking him what type of cheese he has. He's like, "Oh, I got a brie, a blue, a Monterey." And then the guy's like, I think, no, Chip's like, "Do you have any stinky cheese?" Or rather, he says, "We want stinkier." And you see his eyebrows just go.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, oh man, that was funny.
No, it was funny. I think, again, I think that's part of the self-referential, because Roger Rabbit back in those days, they're all cartoons, because that was the only other medium that was served as far as movies and TV. It was either live action or cartoon. And then this movie is referencing the fact that, well, we've grown. We
tried a lot.
We have traditional 2D hand drawn. We got Muppets and puppetry. We have claymation.
Oh, that's right.
Goes Captain
J.K.
Putty.
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, right,
Yeah.
right. Did you see the sock puppet cop?
Yeah, I did. He was there for like 2 seconds.
Right, that's for me. That's hilarious. I'm like, there are shows where it's a freaking sock puppet, like that dumb show Ubi. Do you remember Ubi? Ubi was a hand with eyes right here, and he just talked like this.
It sounds kind of familiar.
Oh, it's terrible. I don't know what Ubi was trying to teach young children, but that stuff's funny. The fact that they said, all right, let's take the concept of Roger Rabbit, let's amplify it times 10. I think Dale being CGI is hilarious. And the way they put it too, it's like, oh, I got the CGI surgery, as like plastic surgery, the equivalent.
It basically is. It's like the way to still stay relevant.
Right?
Cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. It's literally just the Botox type of thing for these cartoons. This is what I do to look pretty and look modern for today's audience, and that's what he does. You have Dale over here. He was done a little. I'm sorry, not Dale. Chip. Chip was done a little differently. I know they wanted to keep him as the traditional 2D animation, but they did something different with him. It was kind of like I don't know if this is the term for it, but it was like a rotoscoping type of look to it. It didn't look traditional. Like if you show Chip moving alongside, say, Roger Rabbit, they're two different styles.
Right. I think, and again, I think it's like, rotoscope and cell shading. When he's facing forward, he's 2D, but then like to give him some depth
once
to
he
stand
moves
alongside, right? He's got a little bit of a 3D, which was still done, I think, to good effect. Like,
I think it was fine. I know some people on social media say it was really bad, and I was like, it's not that bad. It's not my preferred take on 2D animation, but I'm not here vomiting or something, like, I don't know.
I didn't find it distracting. I didn't think it was, like there's so many things going on. Like if you're going to hone in on this, the whole entire movie, you're going to miss a lot of great stuff. So I didn't find it so like, oh my gosh, get Chip off screen. Like I wasn't like that at all. Right.
No, I agree. It wasn't that bad. But the story was also kind of interesting in this movie, right? They took it in the direction where, how many seasons was the original Chip and Dale?
3 seasons. Yeah,
3 seasons? Okay. So 3 seasons, however many episodes. And they took it in the direction where the reason why the show ended, and instead of for it to keep going, is because what? Dale?
It was, and that's funny because I don't know. I know this as far as most Disney shows go back in the day. There was like a 65 kind of episode range that they would shoot for, and that'd be it. Right. It was like once you hit 65, it was like you're done. So I think Chip and Dale did run at 65, but in the movie, it's funny because if you remember the show, Dale did have some episodes where he's like, "Oh, I'm 00 Dale."
He did.
He did.
That's right. Oh, right. Wow. Because like it seemed the 00 Dale bit, like it seemed new, but I didn't watch Chip and Dale too much. But Double O Dale just sounded familiar. I knew there wasn't a show, Double O Dale.
Right,
but the
no.
concept of the character was like, I've heard this before. Where is this from?
Right.
And then you just said it's from the show. So, okay. That's
right. And again, that's, I mean, I'm sure Chip and Dale, I don't know. I'm sure it just ended. And like, if it was that 65 episode rule, that was it. But I think it's funny that they gave a reason that's probably, it's not the reason in real life, but
yes,
it's realistic enough to where this stuff happens all the time, you know,
right.
Where a show is about to end, they got a funny gag in the show that they're like, oh, let's make a spinoff off of it. Oh, this would be great, you know, and then it utterly fails. Like, I don't think Double O Dale would have lasted if that was a real show.
Oh yeah, no, that I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure Dale was a funny, like he was probably one of the main characters that drew in a crowd into the show.
For sure.
Because he's the silly character. But yeah, Double O Dale would not have taken off. And I like how they represented in the show, like we in the movie, oh yeah, we didn't get past like the pilot episode. Like
right, immediately. Yeah, it was literally they didn't get past the pilot, and then Rescue Rangers, bam, down the drain.
It's fantastic. Because they even show that these characters were best friends, like starting from, I guess, elementary school, right?
Which is okay. And again, see, I like the liberties they're taking, because I think in traditional Disney cartoons, Chip and Dale are always just brothers, you know?
Oh, they're like they're siblings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're always naturally just brothers. And then,
I had no idea.
Yes. And then, but in this take, I'm positive they're always brothers. Like, there's no way they're not brothers. So when they were saying they weren't brothers and they were just friends, I thought it was cool because it just kind of played into the whole, you know, I don't know, they met, they become friends, they make it big. I could be wrong, I don't know, but I thought it was extremely, I don't know, cute, for less of a better word. It was cool to, it was very touching to see them come together. Like, Dale is a clown, and he does that pencil stabbing.
Oh, my eye.
Right. Everyone's freaking out. They're like, you're weird. And then Chip is like, you got great comic timing, but let me help you set up the joke better next time.
I like that. He just didn't like throw him under the bus or anything. Like, that wasn't funny at all. No, one thing that I liked, because I felt like this movie could have easily have just watched this under the bridge or something as like an easy motivator for Dale to have left, you know, the Chip and Dale reboot. Because we know, even from the trailers, it had to do something with, it's Dale's fault for whatever reason that Chip and Dale, the show, was canceled, and Chip is now an insurance agent, and he all these years later, he still blames Dale. He's like, dude, if you didn't leave, we could have had X amount of seasons more, 2, 3, 5, whatever. But one thing I like in the beginning, whenever they're going out, like in the flashback during the Chip and Dale series era, whenever they would go out and they would talk about how they met each other, Chip would always say he's the one that rescued Dale.
Yes.
And I like that attention to detail, because they could have done it where it was something where none of that was ever set up, and Dale just wanted to be selfish and was like, oh, you know, I don't want to be the gag character anymore. I kind of want to be the main character now. They could have done that, but they didn't. They made sure to have Dale in certain dialogues. God, I keep calling him Dale.
Chip.
They made sure to give Chip certain dialogue segments where when he says how they met, he never just says, oh, we met and we were best friends from elementary school and we've been together ever since. He doesn't do that. He says multiple times he's the one that he saw Dale by himself. He helped him, and we've been brothers ever since. And even though he means well by it, you see Dale's reaction to Chip saying those things, and it's like it's blink and you miss it.
Right.
It's blink and you miss it. Like Dale's like, oh, like he just reacts, and it's like, okay, that might have bothered someone. Like it might have bothered me the way someone would say that.
Right.
So I like that they set that up so that it's not like Dale just left because I want to be the main character. He left to find his own identity because he felt like
a second banana.
A second banana. You're not second banana. I'm not first banana. We're just bananas.
Right. And it's a good overarching theme for the whole movie because, obviously, watching this movie, they're going to realize, oh, they're better together. That's no secret. However, it is good to watch kind of Chip just realize how much he does need Dale and Dale. And he's always played the role of second banana. And, in this film, you see him take the first banana role and also accept when he needs to be second banana. But
Right.
it's really, it's Chip who has to come to realize they are both bananas, and Dale who realizes like you don't always need that affirmation from Chip. Deep down that's what Chip feels.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you don't screw your friends. Like,
wait, who did it?
Kind of Dale when he took the.
Oh, right.
Like
right,
Chip
right.
said, it's gonna be the end of Rescue Rangers.
No, it's not. You'll be fine. You'll be good.
No.
I do like how it kind of ended up in like a downward spiral for Chip after that. Like after Rescue Rangers, he becomes an insurance agent.
Right.
He's living. I mean, he seems okay, but he's not happy. He'd rather be doing more Rescue Rangers if he could.
Right. Or acting for that matter.
Acting.
Right. But he accepts the fact that was it. And then, on the other end, there's Dale who, and again, that's that meta humor, man. That's that Dale is hanging on to this. And that's really all he's got. He's got Rescue Rangers.
Because there's actors that are like that too. Like they made big money or big fame for a role they did like 10 years ago, whatever. And they're just banking off that. They get some surgery, make themselves look younger a little bit, and they hold up a booth and they hope people show up.
And then a fan put it best at this fake Comic-Con. She said, don't you think more people will come see you if you had... Oh, no, that wasn't a fan. That was Tigra, who we'll talk about later. I don't know.
Who was that from? Where was she from?
That's from Avengers United They Stand, this trash Avengers Fox Kids show.
When did that ever air?
It's like 1999. It is so like bottom of the barrel. Like, who can we cameo in here? The fact that I had to think about it. And then I looked at her pictures. I was like, oh my gosh, I know what that is.
Wow.
It is bottom of the barrel. I could not believe they brought that character.
You want to talk about who we can't believe they brought on?
You want to talk about it now? We can.
Ugly Sonic, baby.
Insanity.
I
never
believe.
expected that ever.
I mean, how can you? Like, even if I was expecting it, I kind of expected it in the sense where, like every other cameo that happened, they have like maybe 10 seconds of screen time, or you see them walking in the background, like, oh, hey, look, there's Ugly Sonic, and that's it. They move on. Ugly Sonic has a role in the movie.
He is a supporting role, right?
Which is insane. I don't know, man. Like, just the fact that Ugly Sonic is in there, it kind of bumps this movie up a little bit because they really went in on referential humor. And
but the concept of the Comic-Con is like, oh, who might we see? There's Baloo on stage, Lumiere's right next to him, Tigra, who nobody knows, and then they just it's a bomb, man. Ugly Sonic, like his inclusion. Yeah, like you said, it's the most self-referential thing, but it's just like they went there. They just went there, and
his teeth, the teeth scene,
the teeth. Oh my! And they did it twice. They did it twice.
They zoomed in. Oh man, they zoomed in on it and everything.
Yeah. I was watching this with these children, like my students, they didn't get any of the jokes. I was like,
they didn't laugh at Ugly Sonic?
No, I don't think they understood that. I had to explain to them. I was like, you saw Sonic 1 and 2, right? You know, this is what Sonic would have looked like if the internet didn't go freaking nuts over this terrible design. And I was like, do you want that? They're like, no. I'm like, right.
Why? Why don't you want it?
Right.
And then they see the teeth, they see the way he looks. Funny enough, with that character, I didn't get this when watching it, but I went to social media after watching the movie to see like some scenes that maybe I missed, some cameos, whatever. There are some that believe Ugly Sonic goes an additional layer below like what we are talking about right now, like the self-referential humor about like washed up actors that are trying to make big again. Apparently, maybe, and this is a maybe, I don't know if I'm on this camp yet or not, but supposedly Ugly Sonic is also referencing so you know how Sonic has like comic books, like Archie comic books, right? There was a comic writer from,
oh no, I already know where you're going.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The author who claims that the movie is using some of his stuff.
Yes, from the Archie comics in like the 90s, 2000s, stuff like that.
He's laying claim saying like, yeah, that you're using my story points and whatnot. Right. Yes.
Some people are saying Ugly Sonic is also a reference to him, making fun of him,
right.
And I mean, if it is, man, like that's hilarious. I have no pity whatsoever for the guy. That the guy's a terrible person from what I've seen on social media. I don't know if I'm judging on social media, but yeah, man, it's I just think that's hilarious.
I think
if it is,
I think there's a lot of concepts that are hilarious in this movie, but then when you take a step back and maybe just like look at it from a bigger perspective, because I'm sure there's other writers who see exactly right. So it's poking fun at everything, and
like you could say it's making fun of the idea more than this singular person. We're talking about this guy.
They literally said, who would be the best character to exemplify this in this movie? Ugly Sonic. There's Ugly.
Throw it in.
Right. But that's the great thing about this movie is there's a lot of next level stuff with a lot of this humor. So, you know, the driving mystery is Monty goes missing because he's getting in with some bootleggers.
I love this concept.
I love this concept too.
I think this is way more intriguing than, and again, I want to say, as a movie overall, I think Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a better style of this movie.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
But in terms of like concept, that the bootlegger concept as like the crime syndicate in this, to me, that's way more interesting than the murder aspect of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
They kept it in the world of the tunes. You know, murder can happen in, you know, our world.
Right.
So it's not anything like thought-provoking, but these bootleg movies are a thing, and it's crazy because like there's such a thing in culture, but it's like you don't pay attention to it, but you know they're there. But I guess I never thought about how it's not that they're ripping off one movie. They might be ripping off multiple movies or characters in one go.
Wait, you mean the bootlegs?
The bootleg. That's why, you know, they have the whole bootleg machine to where, you know, they'll put ears on Monty and make him Dumbo, but he's a mouse still. So it's like, you know, or, you know, that's what they take those parts and put them wherever the heck they want.
I mean, it's genius because I've seen some of these movies that are like this. There's like instead of Kung Fu Panda, there's Fighting Panda Bear. I think it's something like that.
Talking about, you actually seen it, or you just like
I've seen it. I've seen it.
You watched the movie.
I sat down, watched the movie, and I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a go. Let's see how bad this is. Bad. Bad.
Right. No,
Ratatouille.
Oh, Ratatouille.
Instead of Ratatouille, I'm not making that up.
No, I believe you.
That's an actual one.
No, I believe you.
Terrible.
My go-to one with bootlegs for animation, because this was on Netflix for the longest time, I believe, is called Tappy Toes.
That was on Netflix?
I swear you could have watched it on Netflix at a point. Tappy Toes, you heard of Tappy Toes?
I think I seen the image online. Referencing Happy Feet.
Yes.
Right. Tappy Toes.
Oh, yeah, no, just trash.
But it's funny. It's funny because at the same time, they incorporate that bootleg aspect into how the original characters are. These aren't just like wannabe, like I guess animated characters impersonating these more famous ones. The concept of these is that they grab the original characters sometimes because they owe debt to them. They owe money. They owe krill, cheese.
Right.
Whatever. And then they just like surgically erase and modify their art style to the point where they're unrecognizable, but still recognizable enough to put them in these garbage bootlegs. And honestly, the flounder one was,
poor Flounder.
that was done hilariously. He got cross-eyed.
Yes, and they put an enlarged nose on him. Because the whole thing is to the untrained viewer, or I guess even, other countries where they might not even be aware, that looks like the Flounder from The Little Mermaid. Let me get that. Let me cop that. Right.
Or even like an unsuspecting like grandma that is or a grandparent, older person getting like a gift for their child. They're like, I want the movie about the frozen princess.
Right.
The one with their sisters, and then they go to your local dollar store trying to find Frozen, and they see Freeze on the shelf. They're like, oh, this must be it. It's got a princess on it. It's about ice. Yoink.
And it's terrible to think that, also some people buy these bootlegs because that's all they can afford.
Yeah.
But I think it's just perfectly done in this movie. And then, it's such a sight gag at the end where you see like all the characters morphed, or if you catch like the box arts of all of them, it's just really fun. But on top of that, the dude running the bootlegging business, that's kind of sad too.
Wait, are you saying, okay, wait, go ahead.
Both aspects, the actual movie aspect, and if you take it back and
to where it came from,
if you've done your research, right?
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad. And there's an extra layer to it because this is a Disney movie acknowledging what happened with a Disney actor back in the 50s, 40s,
50s, 60s, yeah.
Right. Bobby Driscoll,
yeah.
Right.
Sweet Pete. But
man, it was hilarious. But when you sit down and think about it, it is so sad.
Yeah.
Peter Pan is the syndicate leader, the kingpin.
Yes. And it is Peter Pan. I remember people were trying to dissuade people early on when, they released the trailer. They tried saying, oh, that's not Peter Pan. That's an original character. That's Sweet Pete. That's Peter Pan. Peter Pan. That's Disney's Peter Pan.
They confirmed it in this in the movie. They said it's Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Pan, voiced by Will Arnett, right?
Well, yeah, Will Arnett. Yep.
He does a great job. He's a guy that realized no one wanted to hire him once the boy that could never grow up eventually grew up,
yeah.
And he could not find work, and he got into the bootlegging business. Pays the bills, pays the money. What else can he do?
Right. There wasn't anything. They used him up as a child, and then they shunned him out the moment he starts growing up.
You have one sad aspect where when you think about it from Peter Pan's perspective, it's based on reality with a real person, aside from the joke that is Will Arnett playing Peter Pan, an aged Peter Pan. But Monterey Jack,
Oh my gosh.
That is
what,
verbatim
addiction?
drug addiction. That
Yeah,
is
it's drug addiction.
They obviously put the gag of it being cheese. So I was like, oh, haha, it's, you know, cheese. He was addicted to cheese in the show when he would lose his mind. But they make it like drugs in this, where he's like, oh no, Chip, you don't understand. I've been
dairy free.
I've been dairy free for 3 weeks already.
Right.
And I'm like, wow.
And it's funny too, because yes, in the show he was addicted, but it wasn't like an addiction. It was just a sight gag, you know. He's a mouse. He likes cheese. But then they took that and someone said, that's an addiction. Like
it is.
He can't control himself. He'll sell his friends out for a piece of cheese. You know?
That's true. I mean, I like how they have that animation trope where like they don't do it a lot anymore, but you see that in a lot of old school like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry stuff, where when a cartoon character smells like an aroma of food, you have the scent that like, you know, lures them in like a succubus, and they start floating towards the aroma. They literally, when they go visit the cheese chef, whatever, he said, oh, what kind of cheese you want? So I got a cheese that'll send you to high heaven or something. The way he said it, I'm butchering it, but the way he said it, it was literally referencing the aspect of the cheese is going to literally bring you up to the ceiling. Yes. Like that's how high you're gonna get.
You're right. They're almost so strong. And again, it's just really great. But on top of it too, it's like, oh, when actors sometimes that's all they have was that show, you know, they fall into substance abuse, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only just actors, but yes, substance abuse can be triggered by, you know, if that was your whole world, and then you fall into some bad stuff, then
especially if you don't have work after that. Like,
right.
I'm assuming Monterey Jack has not had anything since Chip and Dale.
He was definitely living off of the royalties of Chip and Dale. His apartment was pretty nice. Or I don't know.
Actually, he was living in a nice apartment. I remember that.
He could have been doing, you know, something on the side, but
right.
But man, yeah, it's funny. Again, it's funny within the contents of the movie, but then it makes the movie even better when you just take that step back and look at it from a grander scheme of things, you know. I really hope Bobby Driscoll's story, Disney recognizes, Disney might have produced this film, but they might have no idea that this was going to be the final product, you know.
I wonder if they're realizing this now, like you know what I mean? Like they might have given the green light on all these things, like, oh yeah, aging Peter Pan, yeah, that's funny because he's like from the 30s, no one cares about him anymore. But I feel like it's possible in the pre-production stages, Disney may not have caught these self-referential things about like Bobby Driscoll, because they're basically outing themselves about what they did to this guy.
Right.
But or maybe they want people to know. Maybe they're like, hey, we acknowledge we did this before. Try to do better.
Like definitely try to do better. Like there's no question. So again, very good on how they do it.
It is.
Right.
And then like with the different animation styles that we mentioned earlier, they have so many uncanny Valley. When they get to Uncanny Valley,
Uncanny Valley, yeah.
Where what was it? It was like during the 2000s when animation was trying to make people real.
Oh my gosh! So that was totally like the couple of things that come to mind. Do you remember the Animatrix?
Yes. That was an anime though. An anime, right?
I don't think it was an anime. I thought it was called Animatrix because it was anime. Either way, there's Scanner Darkly. It was like starring Keanu Reeves. There's a bunch of them you could look up, but of course, I think this was also a really funny joke when they referenced the Polar Express.
He's the polar bear, right?
The polar bear. Apparently, that's the Coke polar bear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't recognize that.
Yeah, I was wondering who it was referencing because I was like, is that because I know they mentioned Polar Express in the movie. So then when they showed the polar bear, my mind went to, oh, that must be.
There's no polar bears in Polar Express.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Are you thinking Golden Compass?
Golden Compass. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking.
Which is what I thought it was too. But then I was like, I don't think that's the bear. But apparently it's the Coke bear. But no, Seth Rogen's hilarious character. I don't even know his name.
So that was the dwarf from The Hobbit, right?
I don't think no. I don't think he's from any actual movie. He's not. No. I think he's in reference to the Robert Zemeckis films where he was doing animation stuff. So Polar Express. Remember Beowulf?
I remember Beowulf.
He did Beowulf. I think that was in reference to Beowulf, if anything.
Really?
Well, Beowulf was like the same animation as the Polar Express.
I thought, see, I don't know, maybe I missed it, or maybe I'm misinterpreting it. I thought the referential humor with a character like that was supposed to be how like you have a movie with real people and then you try to CG a character in it, but don't look real. Like
that's the Polar Express. Yeah, it's motion capture.
But the Polar Express is actually it's motion cap. I know what you're talking about. Polar Express is like a motion captured animated film. It's
all of it. It's a Scanner Darkly. It's I know exactly what you're talking about. We're on the same page. It's in that realm of it's in that weird realm of like they're like real people, but they're like colored over to make it look animated. It's all in that same the Uncanny Valley. It's 2000s bad animation. That was a bad idea. It never went over well.
Right.
Any of those animation styles never went over well. At least they didn't knock it out the park.
No, yeah, it didn't. Like they stopped doing that after like the last one I remember being like one of those big budget films that they tried to really push was Mars Needs Moms.
Oh God, yeah.
Another Disney movie, by the way.
No. Robert Zemeckis' company did it. No, I was just thinking, I was about to call him out, but no, it was just his company. He didn't direct it.
Okay. But it was Disney, right?
Yes, it was Disney. Yes.
Okay. That was the last one I remember doing something like that. And it was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Ugly. It's bad. And again, they made the joke about the eyes. They're like, oh, his eyes are.
I'm looking right at you.
It's like, no, it looks like you're looking at that sign over there. No. That was really good.
And I know it's a tired joke. You know, the whole Seth Rogen's laugh thing.
Yes.
like it's okay. We've heard it a million times. I liked how they used it in here, where you have all these characters coming together. Like, yeah, Pumbaa, the Mantis from Kung Fu Panda, and the jelly monster from Bob the Blob from Aliens.
Monsters vs. Aliens. There was one more, no? Was that it? It's just those ones?
I think there may have been I remember the scene where like, you know, they're chasing them throughout the Comic-Con. Those are the three that appeared.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was it. That was it.
They just are like, what are you staring at? Oh, I'm just looking at your deadpan eyes.
Yo, and again, it's crazy because, I mean, I want to talk about this at the end, but then we can talk about it now. You know, they got away with a lot. Like, a lot of these character appearances makes no sense how they were able to get them on screen or whatever. I don't.
Wait, like who do you mean? Like specifically?
They don't own the DreamWorks characters. Disney does not.
Aren't they paying like what do you call it? Like a royalty for like copyright on?
They might. I know this.
That's what I thought.
I know Ugly Sonic. They had to call him Ugly Sonic, and they altered his appearance ever so slightly. He had bags under his eyes, and he had a gut
belly.
Yeah. Right. But all the characters only call him Ugly Sonic. They never say Sonic, and then when you talk about Sonic, he's like, "Oh, going fast? That's Sonic's thing." I don't really do that.
I take my time.
I mean, there were so many. I had to just keep thinking. Now Disney owns Fox. Maybe they do have the rights of some of these characters. Did you see the Mayor Butthead sign from Beavis and Butthead?
I did not. I don't know that many Beavis and Butthead references too much.
You know their faces though, right?
Yeah. I know what they look like.
His sign was on a park bench, and it was like, "Vote for Mayor Butthead again."
Okay.
Shoot. And again, they're poking fun at everything. The whole tired franchise with Fast and the Furious babies.
Fast and Furious babies. That was funny.
That was good.
There was the one that we referenced on TikTok. By the way, TikTok at the Yonkō Table. Check it out.
That's right.
We noticed the Little Mermaid box art controversy.
The box art, right.
Where if you guys don't know about the Little Mermaid,
you should check that out on the TikTok.
Check it out on the TikTok. Recently posted.
The dude from one of the dads from South Park. I don't know his name.
Randy. He's in there. He was in one of the saunas.
Yeah.
Breaking in.
And oh my gosh, the Batman versus ET.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. You see, they don't own any rights to someone like Batman.
No.
Or even wait, isn't ET Fox?
No, ET is Amblin. So at the heart of it all, it's Steven Spielberg. You better be paying Steven Spielberg to use ET.
To me, the Batman one is you had to have paid to use that, right? You call it Batman and
right. They use the likeness too, yeah.
Right. I actually wanted to I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. I wanted to look at what the budget was for a movie like this. Cause if you remember, was it Ready Player One? No, not even though Ready Player One is a good example. Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
I remember Wreck-It Ralph. I think this was in reference to the first Wreck-It Ralph. Maybe the second one also had this issue, but the first Wreck-It Ralph, I remember its budget was so high, not because of it's a Disney animation film and it takes a while to, make these type of things. A lot of that budget came from paying the respective companies to reference characters in Wreck-It Ralph. So Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Eggman from Sonic, Sonic from Sonic,
Bowser,
any
right, any character, yes, they had to pay out of pocket just for their appearance, unless it fell under a parody, but those were straight up characters, so those are not parodies.
Fix It Felix is literally Mario, but he's not, he's just a referential parody to that character.
So you don't have to pay for that.
Exactly. I mean, there were a lot of references. I tried pausing the movie every couple minutes, whenever there's a scene, to see who am I gonna recognize? Oh, I see that. Obviously the big one is in the bootlegging facility.
Oh yeah, you could have a field day there.
You pause the screen, you're gonna see reference 100 references at least to end that one scene alone, and it's basically a scene where the plot is revealed that whenever they bootleg an animated character, they take the parts that they would use on another character, they mix and match. So in the scene where Chip was going to get bootlegged along with Dale, I think, or was it just Chip? No, I think it was both of them.
Well, it was both of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. They had to dodge the lasers. They get to the room where they get all the little packages of all these characters. You got Jimmy Neutron. You got Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Those were the standout ones. There were some I'm sure I know Twitter's found a bunch.
Easily.
Did you?
Wow. Oh God, what was that? That Nickelodeon show about monsters? Wow Monsters or Monsters.
Oh, Real Monsters? Really?
Real. There was a mouth. You remember the small elf looking monster.
Yes.
There was three of them. The one with the eyes.
The red one. Are you talking about
the red one? His mouth was sideways on
really?
one of the bags. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one. Oh, speaking of Nickelodeon though, gotcha.
The Nick heist.
There's only one human character in this, like, right? There's like only one standout human character.
Yeah, in terms of like having an actual role.
Yes.
There's human characters in the background, but in terms of a role, it's I forgot her name.
Steckler. Ellie Steckler. Yes.
Ellie. That's what it was.
I thought you played a role very well. I mean, again, I think it was part of that was if you're talking about her acting again, I think it was the point.
I don't know, man, because I kind of thought that going in. I was like, oh god. See, this is where it gets hard. You know, like so the movie recognizes it's making fun of itself and fun of certain things. But when do you get lost in the sauce where you say you're making fun of it, but it's to cut corners and still make the trope for the sake of making the trope, if that makes sense?
I took her performance at some points to be like a host. I was like, oh, she's freaking Steve from like Blue's Clues talking to them like, oh yeah, every episode's my favorite. I don't know. I got that's the vibe I was getting from her. So you at some points
you thought the blatant red herring that she gave off,
was
on purpose.
That was so on purpose because I caught it like Chip. I was like, and that's the thing. Because
they did it on purpose. Like she would say those things.
Yes.
And they would sound off, and they would show Chip going,
Right. And that's the thing. I was like, there's no way they're trying to be that obvious. Like, and you know, you've seen shows like that where the bad guy is clearly there.
It's the closest person to the group. Right. Okay.
But I think they did a good job here.
I guess when I take it, like, remember when I said earlier I had problems with the movie?
Yeah. Oh, was she a problem?
She was a problem.
Ooh.
But it was from the mindset of this was probably the weakest part of the movie because of the things we just talked about. But when I look at it from, they wrote it in there to be that purposeful, to be that bad, because that's how those cop movies always are, where it is the cop, it is the police chief.
Oh my!
It is when you think it's when it's the person most obvious, it's not them, it's this guy instead.
If it ain't broke. And then he goes on to, he does the whole, oh, my grandma's in the hospital.
Really? No! I made that up.
He's like, it's about the money. Of course it's about the money.
Oh my God. I get, maybe talking it out, maybe I'm leaning more towards the positive end of that.
The payoff was worth it. What you thought was bad acting, either way, that payoff I think was hilarious.
It was. The police chief couldn't fight. He ate the Gomu Gomu no fruit, right?
the OG Gumby, not Gum.
OG Gumby, the Gumby fruit.
Yes.
No, that was just great. I love that. Homie put up a fight.
He did. Oh my gosh. And he's Clay. Come on, do something.
They were creative.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say Mr. Fantastic better do stuff like this. He got really creative with his stretching abilities and what he could do.
Oh yeah. It's not just I can stretch my arms.
Yes, you can mold yourself into something, right?
Right. It's kind of like not exactly, but he's kind of similar to how I would compare like Green Lantern to, where Green Lantern's ring is only limited by his imagination from what I know. So if Green Lantern brings out a giant fist and punches you, he imagined that, but it's like, I don't know, man, you might maybe think of something else. I don't know. It's limited by your imagination.
Anything, so, literally anything. Yeah.
Same with Mr. Fantastic. He can do something with that. So looking at it like that, yeah, Gumby was very creative with how he was fighting towards the end.
Right.
Did you like some of the moments they had with each other, like Chip and Dale, like the moment where he thought Dale was face down in the water,
Oh,
dead?
yes, yes, it worked for me. I did.
Okay.
It felt like Dale was, really hanging on to their friendship, and Chip was being dismissive purposefully. He's being, tough shell and whatnot. That scene in particular was funny because I forgot. I mean, it makes sense that, they had an idea for a spinoff, and, part of that planning process is getting your merchandise ahead, So
Right.
they had all that merchant. Another thing, the freaking Shrek shampoo or something.
Oh, that was nice. They get all the unsold products and they repurpose it. That was hilarious.
That was good.
You remember Shrek shampoo?
It's like, no, of course not. Nobody does. Nobody bought it. So I think Andy Samberg, and actually
There was Shrek ketchup, by the way. I just wanted
I remember Shrek ketchup, of course. Shrek Cheetos. I remember those Cheetos. Too, which were orange, and when you bit them, they turned your tongue green.
Oh.
Yeah. Andy Samberg, and again, I'm not really big on John Mulaney, but I actually like John Mulaney.
Dale?
John Mulaney was Chip.
Oh, okay.
So I like both of their performances. I thought it was gonna be weird, them not doing the squeaky voices,
which they've referenced,
which they did
times.
And I liked how they referenced it too. Like they're over here writing script or writing jokes, and they're like, what if I say I like nuts?
Good idea.
Right.
That was funny. Or when they start getting heated and they're going back and forth,
yes,
and their voices naturally get higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of funny. It's like an in canon reference to their story where it's like they know, like Disney just didn't retcon their voices for the sake of they weren't like, oh, we don't want to make a Alvin and the Chipmunks 5 with these characters having high-pitched voices. We'll give them modern voices so that people can stand listening to them for an hour and a half.
Right.
But also recognize, no, they did have squeaky voices in the original, but there was a reason why. They were putting on an act, and sometimes that bit of them naturally comes out when they're in an emotional state, like when they were arguing with each other. They'll sometimes get high-pitched voices. So, or when they're referencing script, they're like, yeah, good idea. That's great. Let's put that in.
Yeah,
I thought
it was good. Yeah, it was really funny. It's creative. I appreciate creativity like that, because they could have done without the old voices, but I like that they brought the original voice actors back too. So that was nice. Well, like when they do their squeaky parts.
Oh, so that was like new material that they did. Did Disney go back into the archive and just
that was not archived, right?
Okay,
it was not archived. Yeah, that was, they came back. I believe it's Tress McNeil, who also did Gadget, and then Dale is Corey Burton.
Which one's Gadget?
Okay, so Gadget and Zipper. Gadget is the girl, the one who fixes everything, and the brain.
Oh, it's a female that voices both.
Yeah, she does Chip and Gadget. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Jim Cummings, who did I didn't know, it says Peter Cullen did Monterey Jack at 1.2. I did not know that. I thought it was originally just Jim Cummings the whole time. But Jim Cummings did not do, well, neither one of them did Monterey. But Jim Cummings was still in the movie. He does Pooh and Tigger and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Pooge.
Oh man, I don't even want to mess it up. They made so many clever name
Pooge
changes.
the fat honey bear or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. That was great. Did you like though? Are you okay with the Rescue Rangers film just being about Chip and Dale, and then Monty is the missing one, and then Gadget and Zipper come in and at the end and help them? Are you okay with that?
I'm sure other people might have different answers to this depending on who you ask. I'm okay with this just because whenever I think of Chip and Dale, I just think of Chip and Dale.
Sure.
I know there was the show with Jack, Gadget, the fly, Zipper, whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I know they were characters during their actual main TV series, but even then, I just think of Chip and Dale. You remember in the beginning of the movie when I think it's Dale narrating.
Oh yeah, Dale's narrating.
And he's like, when you hear Chip and Dale, do you think of, and then he shows like the old 18th, 17th century wood carver, whatever. And then he's like, if you're not thinking of him, are you thinking of these Chip and Dales? And it's like
the dancers.
Right, the dancers. And then it's like, if you're not thinking of them, then you're probably thinking, and then they show the actual Chip and Dale. I like how they did this because I was the exact opposite of how whenever I heard Chip and Dale, what I thought of. I don't know if other people thought the same thing, but when I originally heard Chip and Dale back in the day, the first time I heard of it was the Chipmunks, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Me too, of course.
After that, when you hear Chip and Dale, for me, I would be like, oh, the Chipmunks, right? And they're like, no, the dancers. Who? And then it'll be the dancers. So I just found it kind of funny how they kind of reversed it. Like Chip and Dale, that the Chipmunks are now like distant memory to where that's not the go-to thought you have when you say their name. You think of all these other things first, like the dancers, the wood carver, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you get to the Chipmunks through process of elimination.
Right.
I don't mind that the story was just about them. My go-to example, Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Chip and Dale were in Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
Where was Jack?
Oh, stop. They weren't going to be in there. They weren't going to be in there.
Why? Because they're not needed.
Because that's a spinoff. Because Chip and Dale are Disney mainstays.
But that's my thing. It's like, I guess because it's called Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, you wanted all the Rescue Rangers in the movie because, you know, some people really like Jack, some people really like Gadget. They wanted them to be in the movie. But I don't know. I think of Chip and Dale. I just think of those two characters. And when I play Kingdom Hearts, I saw Chip and Dale. I'm like, oh, I'm satisfied. That's all I need.
Oh, no, of course. And I was totally fine with this being about Chip and Dale. Like, I think trying to reintroduce Rescue Rangers to a modern audience, it was better to go with just Chip and Dale. And also for the point of the story, like if you want to have this story and you want to have Chip and Dale actually care, kidnap one of the Rescue Rangers. But also too, again, story-wise, it makes sense if these cartoons are real. Well, it's been like 30 years since Chip and Dale. Of course they moved on. Everybody should have moved on with their lives. So I think it serves the story. Now, if they want to do a sequel, because I guess that's where they're heading, because now
they could,
they saved the day, and Dale's talking about the
reboot.
They're getting a reboot, which will be very interesting. If it's like, are we going to get the show that is the result of their actions in this movie? Or are we going to get
the continuity? Would be interesting.
Yeah, are we going to get like the actors acting in the reboot? Like maybe we see them on screen and off screen.
Right.
I don't know. I think it shall be interesting if they get a sequel. I mean, I'm okay without a sequel. I
think it's fine on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. I do like films within this universe of all animation styles are actual people. Like if they wanted to do another, I mean, that'd probably be really hard to do. But if they had any other stories where, I don't know, He-Man and Skeletor are roommates,
it takes place in the Chip and Dale universe.
Exactly.
They made a lot of references in this movie, like literally just straight up. There's that character walking down the street.
Yes.
Phineas and Ferb's mom is just there. You just accept it. It's there, and it's great, cool.
Doc McStuffins, I think, had a booth.
Who's Doc McStuffins?
Some Playhouse Disney thing.
What, the hot dog?
I mean, in that era, but it's been like popular for the last like 10 years, I think. Doc McStuffins.
Okay.
I don't know. If you don't know, obviously it's not our era.
Yeah.
There's so many you can find.
One thing that we didn't mention, I thought this was probably the second funniest scene. When they mentioned the Nickelodeon raid.
Okay, yes.
I want to mention that at least because it's when Ellie is telling her backstory on why the police or like her colleagues don't trust her because she proceeded on a false tip before raiding Nickelodeon HQ, and the way you see, I feel like they could have done this joke a little bit better because clearly they're trying to make it seem like they're eliciting some PTSD things with like the Nickelodeon raid where we went up against the Tommy Pickles and Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. I thought they were gonna do something where like you heard helicopters and like gunshots in the background where like it was an episode. She's like, yeah, it was something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. That could have made it a little more darker, maybe, but I don't know. The Nickelodeon raid by itself was hilarious. I thought it was one of the funniest parts in the thing. I wish they showed a little bit more of it.
See, that's the thing. I think they would have definitely have to pay if they were going to show something. Because for me too, that like that had me out. Like I was like, oh, like the moment she said when she said Nickelodeon Studio, I was like, okay, cool. But then she's like, oh, Peppa Pig. Like started a riot with the Paw Patrol, and the Paw Patrol started going crazy or something. I was like, that is funny. That is like that. She was so
going
funny.
down a list of all the shows that like caused that was a domino effect of how bad that raid was.
Yes. I really appreciated that joke. So I mean, I'm sure it would have cost money, but it's just fun. Make fun of each other. Networks, it's okay. Who cares? Like, I applaud them for if they did have to slide that joke to the execs and be like, "Can we do this?" And the exec said, "Yes, that's funny. Let's do it." Power to them because I like. We all know they're competitive. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's nothing new. Just poke fun at each other. I don't know. If Paw Patrol wants to have a character that looks like a mouse in red shorts and they rip them up in an episode, that's funny. That's funny.
That would not be on an episode.
Yeah, no, actually, no. No, it would not. You're right. You're absolutely right. But
but I get it. But great. And so I guess the last thing we can talk about is what did you think of the movie overall? I mean, I guess we kind of talked about it already, but did you think the movie lived up to the expectations you set out for it? For me, the movie was good. I really liked it. I don't know what it is. I think the trailers kind of made it a little bit better. Like, okay. I like the build up to the movie because we all saw the trailers where we're like, oh my God, they're going to be referencing all these characters and, these cool little references to these franchises here and there. But do you think like the movie holds its own weight once you take away those references?
I see what you're saying. Do you still have a quality film without all the side jokes, all the sight gags?
No Peppa Pig raid,
right?
Paw Patrol.
I think so. I think, from beginning to end, this was a Chip and Dale story. I like their background. I like that they gave context to why Rescue Rangers ended. And I mean, the story is very cliche and they poke fun at that too. But I still felt the heart in it. Like, I believed Chip and Dale came back together, and I believe, Rescue Rangers were reunited. I believed it. Does it still hold up on its own? Probably not. That's why they went with this version where they're in the real world,
Right.
Like, I think if you want to pull that modern day audience, you don't give them the Chip and Dale story. They're in their own world because your fandom is going to be very narrow. It's going to be the classic fans.
Right. Right.
You see Phineas and Ferb's mom in the trailer, or any people or anything that you recognize in the trailer, you're gonna attract more of an audience because you're like, oh wow, that looks funny. Like, what are they doing there? You know?
Right.
So yeah, and I still think there's a story. I do believe with what they did, they will gain a bigger audience, no doubt.
Okay.
Because also this hasn't been done much. The only closest thing in recent times, I guess, is Space Jam: A New Legacy. Seeing,
oh man, and that, to me, that's like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that was
like,
right. Yeah,
it's just I guess that, you know what, that's a good comparison. You know, Space Jam is a movie, like, you can enjoy Space Jam to a certain degree, but the references in that movie are just for the sake of making the reference. Like, yes. Oh, look, Iron Giant. That's it. That's the joke. Yeah, Iron Giant's right there on screen, and you move on. At least with here, even though there are obviously background characters that you can say that about, like, oh, Phineas and Ferb's mom, done. That's it. That's the joke.
Yes.
The characters that are still references in that are part of the story, they still have an impact and relate to what's going on. The Peter Pan thing, I feel like, is perfect example of that. Mm-hmm. They're referencing Peter Pan, integrating him into the plot as the main villain, and also referencing a tragic tale and reality from the past.
Right.
I think that's fantastic. So I think the movie did a good job. I thought it's not as good as what I thought it was going to be from the trailers. I can't tell you exactly like where my expectations were like after watching some of those trailers. I don't know, but like watching the movie, I did enjoy it from beginning to end. There were some pockets where I'm like, nothing's really happening right here, but it was like so few and far between. Overall, I think they did a great job. Do I want a sequel? I feel like the movie's fine on its own, just a good Chip and Dale like reboot film. If they want to, it does. If they want to do a sequel to this, it comes back to the question of what you brought up earlier. Do you just make a direct sequel in canon to where it's like it's still referencing what went on here, but it's a sequel where they're making the show and maybe they have fights about what direction the show should go in, stuff like that? Or is it an actual, we're continuing the Chip and Dale show Rescue Rangers with Monty, Gadget, all of them?
Right.
That's up to Disney, I guess. We'll see. I feel like the movie's gonna do well.
I think it's doing well. It's a lot. It's getting a lot of buzz. It's getting
right.
Yeah, a lot of social
Ugly
media.
Sonic alone is pulling weight on social media.
They knew that was gonna definitely go over well, I'm sure. Like
easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I just find it funny the fact that the person that saved them at the end from Peter Pan
was Ugly Sonic.
Because you thought he was lying the whole time because he's like, oh yeah, I got a show with like the FBI. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff in this new program.
Ugly Sonic, Uglier Crimes. Oh my god.
That was the name of the show.
Yeah.
And he pulled through at the end.
He did. The fact that he's a character. So it's baffling, it's alarming, it's disturbing, but it's hilarious.
It makes me wonder, because Ugly Sonic was I'm trying to remember when the trailer for Ugly Sonic came out.
Oh, that came out in 2019.
And then the film was pushed to 2020, I think. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Because it was originally going to come out in 2019, and then Ugly Sonic trailer drops. Mm-hmm. Fans bully the studio, justly so. Don't care what you say. Don't care what you say. And they delay the film to change the character to a more modern, appropriate take on the character. So Chip and Dale had to have been in production for quite some time. Who was the Ugly Sonic before Ugly Sonic? You know what I mean? Like it was probably still early stages at that point. Like they probably didn't even have that scene written out yet, but it's like, who would it have been? Who would have been this character?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Without ugly Sonic, right?
Oh man, yeah. They probably would have found some random Disney IP and
that no one
rolled it.
remembers. It's like an ugly.
Yeah, exactly. But then they
okay.
said we could do something great here if we use a character nobody wanted, like legit nobody wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that nobody cared about. Like if they pulled an old Disney character that nobody cared about, that's base level joke. Here's an actual character nobody wanted, you know?
Right.
So,
they see them and they're like, no, don't give me more content with this person.
Yeah, right.
Last thing I want to mention, I don't know if it's like a cry for fans to speak up on if they want to have this or not. Darkwing Duck is at the end.
Darkwing Duck's he's getting something. They got something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go watch the DuckTales reboot because Darkwing Duck has a whole arc in that show.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
And actually, it's kind of similar to what goes on here. Darkwing Duck is a cartoon that Launchpad watches in the show, and then there's like another universe where the Darkwing Duck villains actually come over. But actually, I'm gonna stop. Go watch it. I just realized how good it is. The Darkwing Duck tie-in to DuckTales. Go watch those episodes specifically. They're like really good. There's like 2 in season 2 and like 2 in season 3. It's so good. It's like it reminds me of this. It's really good.
So I mean, I'll watch it. That does sound like something.
But he's also getting a spinoff, or he's getting a reboot.
He is confirmed getting a reboot.
Yeah, it's in the works. Yeah.
Okay. And is it like a traditional reboot, like, or
we don't know. We don't know.
Okay. Interesting. You know what? Hey, I mean, these Disney afternoon. Actually, it was funny. I know I keep saying last thing, but real last thing. At the end of the movie, you get the credits scene, and you get to see all the parodies of all the bootlegs from all these other Disney movies. There was a reference to a Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros.
I gotta go back.
It was so good, but instead of obviously Nintendo characters, it's the Disney afternoon. Where they got their fighting game. Yes. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So you see Darkwing Duck there. You see Tailspin.
Yes.
It was great. I just liked it. I liked.
No, it was good. No, it was good stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Like, any last thoughts on the film? What you want moving forward?
Just I want people to go watch this film. I think they really appreciate it, and I really like the self-referential humor. There is heart in the story too. I think it just gels all really well. I think they did a good job. Go watch this film. I need another like Roger Rabbit like film like this. Not immediately, but maybe down the road sometime.
It's crazy it's taken this long to do another Roger Rabbit style of film. I mean, I know that style of film is hard, very hard. It's expensive. Yeah. And I mean, Roger Rabbit's the standard. Who wants to be compared to Roger Rabbit? You know what I mean? Like that's a high standard to meet. So this is, I would say, this is Roger Rabbit for a modern audience.
Yeah, definitely. I would call it that. Mm-hmm.
I think Roger Rabbit's a little bit better, just a little bit.
That's fine. That's fine. It's classic.
But this movie, it's good. It's good. It's really good. Go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. Surprisingly, Disney didn't release this in theaters, which is a little odd.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, there are times where I felt like this is like a full-blown movie. I mean, it is a movie. It is a full-blown movie, but, you know, it felt like something that was supposed to be on the big screen, but I don't know if Disney didn't they didn't have any confidence in this succeeding in theaters. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like Chip and Dale, they're chipmunks. They don't want to be compared to Alvin and the Chipmunks as another reboot. They don't want to have the Chipmunks rapping, you know? But we'll see. Go watch it if you have Disney Plus. Great movie. And let us know what you all think of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. If you want to see more content, if you stuck with us this long through the pod, Check us out on social media. We're on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're posting stuff daily, every day. And a lot of our jokes slap. Don't believe us? Check it out. Prove us wrong. But yeah, go watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers, folks. But that's all we have for today. I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, signing off, and take care. Chippendale
Rescue Rangers!
Chippendale
Full of danger! Cut it. There.
Cut.